Camus Detropa, and thank you for visiting our YouTube channel. Here are the latest NBA playoffs updates on games results today, NBA games schedule for tomorrow, and the updated NBA playoffs bracket standings as of today, April 21st, 2025.
NBA playoffs games result today, April 21st, 2025. In the first of 4 NBA playoffs games played today, the NBA best team and the top overall seed Oklahoma City Thunder just made history after defeating the Memphis Grizzlies with the final score of 131-80 in game number 1 of their best of 7 NBA playoffs first-round series. The 51-point demolition by the OKC Thunder was the largest winning margin by any team in NBA playoffs game 1 in the history of the NBA. Aaron Wiggins top-scored the Oklahoma City Thunder off the bench with 21 points along with 4 rebounds. Jalen Williams added 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. And Chet Holmgren added a double-double performance of 19 points along with 10 rebounds. Top MVP candidate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's off night in shooting didn't even affect the team, showing how good this team is, as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander only managed to score 15 points in game number 1. For Memphis, Ja Morant led the Grizzlies in scoring with 17 points along with 4 assists, and Marvin Bagley III also added 17 points and 5 rebounds. The West top-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder now leads their best of 7 NBA playoffs first-round series versus the 8th-seeded Memphis Grizzlies, 1-0. In the second game, the NBA defending champions and the East second-seeded Boston Celtics flexed their muscles in the second half to defeat the 7th-seeded Orlando Magic in game number 1 of their best of 7 NBA playoffs matchup. After a close first half that saw Orlando even took a 1-point lead at halftime, Boston came out firing in the third quarter and outscored Orlando by 12 points in that period to cruise to an easy victory. Derek White led the Boston Celtics in scoring with 30 points and 4 rebounds, followed by Peyton Pritchard 19 points, and Jason Tatum finished with a double-double game of 17 points and 14 rebounds. For Orlando, Paolo Banchero had a solid game finishing with 36 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists, while Franz Wagner added 23 points along with 5 assists. The East second-seeded Boston Celtics now leads their best of 7 NBA playoffs first-round series versus the 7th-seeded Orlando Magic, 1-0. In the third game, the NBA Eastern Conference top-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers used a strong fourth quarter to create a separation to defeat the 8th-seeded Miami with the final score of 121-100 in game number 1 of their NBA playoffs best of 7 first-round matchup. Donovan Mitchell led all scorers with 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists, followed by Ty Jerome with 28 points on top of 5 rebounds, and Darius Garland finished the game with 27 points and 5 assists. For Miami, team captain Bam Adebayo led the Heat in scoring with 24 points along with 9 rebounds, while Tyler Herro added 21 points and 3 rebounds. The East top-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers now leads their best of 7 NBA playoffs first-round series versus the 8th Miami Heat, 1-0. In the fourth and final NBA playoffs game played today, the 7th-seeded Golden State Warriors holds off a massive attempt for a comeback by the Houston Rockets, as the Warriors holds on to a 95-85 victory on the road in game number 1 of their best of 7 NBA Western Conference first-round series. The Golden State Warriors have led by as much as 25 points in this game, but the Rockets managed to trim the lead to as low as 3 points. But big guns Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler's endgame poise and heroics are just enough for the Warriors to hold on to the victory. The greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry led all scorers with 31 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, followed by Jimmy Butler with 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists, and Brandon Podziemski added 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. For Houston, Turkish big man Alperen Şengün led the Rockets in scoring with 26 points along with 9 rebounds, but did not get much help offensively, with next scorers Dillon Brooks and Jabari Smith Jr. only managed to add 11 points each. The 85 points that the Houston Rockets scored was their lowest total output offensively this season. The West 7th seed Golden State Warriors now leads the 2nd-seeded Houston Rockets in their NBA playoffs best of 7 first-round series, 1-0.
Now let's have a quick and closer look at the updated NBA Eastern and Western Conferences NBA playoffs picture standings as of today, April 21st.
2025 NBA Playoffs Bracket Standings, as of today, April 21st, 2025. In the Eastern Conference, the first-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers are currently leading their best-of-7 East first-round series against the 8th-seeded Miami Heat, 1-0. Meanwhile, the East second-seeded Boston Celtics are also leading their best-of-7 Eastern Conference first-round match up against the number 7 Orlando Magic, 1-0. The NBA Eastern Conference third-seeded New York Knicks is currently leading their best-of-7 NBA Playoffs East matchup versus the 6th-seeded Detroit Pistons, 1-0. And for the final pair in the NBA Playoffs Eastern Conference bracket, the 4th-seeded Indiana Pacers are also leading their best-of-7 NBA Playoffs Eastern Conference match up against the number 5 Milwaukee Bucks, 1-0. And in the Western Conference, the top overall seed Oklahoma City Thunder are leading their best-of-7 West first-round matchup versus the 8th-seeded Memphis Grizzlies, 1-0. Meanwhile, the second-seeded Houston Rockets are currently down in their best-of-7 West NBA playoffs matchup versus the number 7 Stephen Curry-led Golden State Warriors, 0-1. The third-seeded LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and the rest of the Los Angeles Lakers are also down in their best-of-7 West first-round series versus the 6th-seeded Anthony Edwards and the rest of the Minnesota Timberwolves, 0-1. And for the last pair in the NBA Western Conference playoffs picture, the 4th-seeded three-time MVP, Nikola Jokic-led Denver Nuggets are currently leading their best-of-7 West first-round series matchup versus the number 5 Los Angeles Clippers, 1-0.
The first round of the NBA playoffs continues with just 2 games tomorrow. And here are full details of a pair of game number 2s. The NBA playoffs game schedule for tomorrow, April 22nd.
NBA playoffs game schedule for tomorrow, April 22nd, 2025. The NBA playoffs will have 2 NBA games scheduled, as the NBA Eastern Conference third-seeded New York Knicks will be looking for a 2-0 lead in their best-of-7 NBA East first-round matchup versus the 6th-seeded Detroit Pistons. The game number 2 of the Knicks versus Pistons series will be played at the Madison Square Garden Arena in New York City at 7:30 in the morning. And in the second and final game scheduled for tomorrow, the NBA Western Conference 4th-seeded Denver Nuggets will be playing versus the 5th-seeded Los Angeles Clippers, as James Harden and company would try to even the series at 1 game each. The game number 2 of the Nuggets versus Clippers series will be played at the Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado at 10 in the morning.
Thank you for watching, guys. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel para updated ka lagi sa NBA happenings. Araw-araw. Let's play some balls. Peace. Out.